They always said I'm wrong, but what they doing today? I think they want me gone, but I ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly. This is the Real Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in. Crazy day in college football. Let's get going. Number 4 Alabama this afternoon trounces West Carolina, who is 1-10 now, 49-0. So they have one loss, but a lot of people still feel like Alabama is the best team in the nation. They set themselves up that if both teams at the top lost, which was unlikely but not impossible, they could move up in the rankings. Then number 3 Notre Dame gets a 38-0 win over Wake Forest. So both the number 4 and 3 teams get a win, which sets up an interesting evening as both number 2 Oregon and number 1 Kansas State play nighttime nationally televised games. Let's begin with Kansas State going in to Baylor. Number 1 Kansas State, led by Heisman favorite Colin Klein. They go into Baylor with RG3 in the house, and they got embarrassed tonight, 52-24. They dropped to 10-1. Colin Klein with his performance tonight throws the ball 50 times, 27 of 50, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, but the 3 interceptions are really what killed him and Kansas State tonight. Not to mention C-Strunk ran for 185 yards, Martin ran for 113 yards. They got a solid, Baylor got a huge performance from their rushing games, and then Nick Florence threw 2 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions, but at the same time, the rushing game made up for it. Baylor defeats number 1 Kansas State. And then Stanford, Oregon was a game that for the first 2 hours, or for the first 2.5 quarters, it wasn't that exciting game to watch, especially if you're used to watching Oregon, who has a prolific offense. If you're used to seeing that brand of football and then you tune into tonight, it's a bit of an adjustment period, but it ended up being a very good game. In the third quarter, tied 7-7, DeAnthony Thomas runs a 6-yard touchdown in to give Oregon a 14-7 lead. Oregon also had a chance to go up 17-7 with a field goal, but they missed it just wide right. So in the fourth quarter, Stanford gets the ball back. Last second, Kevin Hogan throws a touchdown pass for 10 yards to Zach Ertz. It was questioned, reviewed, and I believe Ertz had possession and was able to stay in bounds. And then after, he did roll out of bounds a little bit and may have lost possession, but he was in, caught the touchdown. It's a touchdown. The rest really is irrelevant. That's how they portrayed it on SB Nation. They have a good GIF photo of the whole play going on up there, and it pretty much shows you that he was just in bounds. I mean, this was extremely close to him being out of bounds, and Oregon getting out of there with a 14-7 win. Instead, it's 14-14. They head to overtime, and college football is overtime. I don't know if I'd like it if my favorite team was in it, but I really enjoy watching this way more than the NFL overtime because it's not conventional, but it's fun to watch. Oregon gets the ball. They are not able to do anything with it. Stanford gets it. They set up for a 37-yard field goal. The last play they ran really didn't make any sense because they had it straight on and they ran it to the left a little bit. It didn't end up mattering. Jordan Williamson hits a 37-yard field goal to give Stanford a 17-14 win. And the national title race has just been blown up. Notre Dame at number 3 could be number 1 in a couple days. Alabama is likely to shift back up to number 2. Now, Alabama is still going to need to win the SEC championship game. Notre Dame still has 1 game left in the regular season, but it appears we are now headed for a Notre Dame and Alabama national title. And all of a sudden, Alabama and Nick Saban, they have their chance to repeat as national title champions. In Oregon's case, I think we might have seen the end of Chip Kelly and in college football, at least for a few years. There's a bunch of jobs that are going to be available, and a lot of jobs that should intrigue Chip Kelly. No one knows if he's going to be successful in the NFL. We've heard a lot on radio here in Philly about him potentially coming to the Eagles. No one knows if his offense is going to work in the NFL, but man, is it fun to watch in college football, and he almost got a job last year, and with all the coaches that are going to get fired, I mean, Andy Reid's gone, Norv Turner's gone, that's just a few, but there's going to be tons of jobs open. Sal Palantonio of ESPN has projected almost a quarter of the coaching jobs in the NFL could be open at season's end. I tend to think Chip Kelly's going to take his chance, go for a 3 or 4 year deal somewhere in the NFL where he has a chance to see if he can be a John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh, I should say, really succeed in the NFL, or whether he struggles like Nick Saban did in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins and ends up back in college football in a few years, or Lane Kiffin, who right now he's struggling in college football too. But Oregon, they're likely out of the national title race. Kansas State, barring Notre Dame completely falling off the map next week and losing, or Alabama losing the SEC title game, doesn't appear they'll be back in. You have Georgia at 5. They have one loss. They won 45-14 today. So I really can't project right now because we don't know what the rankings are going to be next week. I think Kansas State will probably be 4. They could be 3. So if Alabama were to lose the SEC title game, or we see Oregon, or I should say Notre Dame, lose a game next week, then everything shook up again. It's been fun to watch, and it will continue to be fun to watch. Check out therealsportstalk.com. Follow me on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST. Subscribe to us at YouTube at youtube.com/Mr. Kelstar. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/therealsportstalk. I'm out of plugs to give. I'm going to get out of here. See you guys later.
Just a little ways around the corner from fear. Be there.